start it up.
Hello and welcome back to From the Other Side. I'm Dave, coming to you from Minsk, Belarus. This is our first live show besides our live KHL hockey streams we have done this week for over a month as we went to Peru and Paris for a vacation, and I've got a video to show you what I've seen in Peru and my thoughts of what I saw in the stone building there soon. This is live show 145. We've got a packed program tonight. In the US, the assassination of Charlie Kirk has ignited a conservative firestorm, while Donald Trump tightens his grip on the battlegrounds amid Washington's shutdown fears. In Ukraine, Russian forces press forward in Kharkiv as Kiev's lines crack under mounting losses, now spilling over into a suspicious drone drama on Poland's border. European splinters further with a farmer revolts and energy defiance from Hungary and Slovakia. Britain erupts in a massive anti-immigration protests. France's government collapses into debt-fueled chaos, and China solidifies its multipolar vision alongside Russia. And right here at home in Belarus, Minsk, we've just marked its 958th birthday with vibrant celebrations yesterday, and Dinamo Minsk navigated a rollercoaster week in the KHL with big test against Avangard looming this Monday. Plenty to cover, so let's get into it. And in our first segment of the show, segment 1, Charlie Kirk's martyrdom and the conservative explosion. In America, the shocking assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10th has transformed him from a rising force into a conservative icon and supercharged the movement he built. As founder of Turning Point USA, Kirk was gunned down in mid-event in Utah Valley University, a brutal act that sent shockwaves through the heartland.
This morning I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. So the FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. Now, I understand there are a lot of questions about motive. I assure you that all leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that.
His social media exploded overnight, 3.5 million new Instagram followers and 1.5 million on TikTok for his podcast. Rallies are swelling with the students from coast to coast reckoning with the trauma while vowing to carry his torch. Kirk's unfiltered message, America first, border security, family values, no more forever wars, now echoes louder in death. The left's stronghold on youth shattered. Turning Point has surged, with insiders calling it a sleeping giant awakening.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there has never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
A mega memorial event is already in the works, turning grief into galvanizing activism aligned with Trump's vision. This isn't just a US drama. Kirk's martyrdom weakens the globalist grip on NATO and Europe, stripping away their youth brigade, the conservative wave he unleashed. It's crashing harder than ever, reshaping the world order, one fired-up kid at a time.
I hope he's going to be found guilty, I would imagine, and I hope he gets the death penalty. What he did, Charlie Kirk was the finest person. He didn't deserve this. He worked so hard and so well. Everybody liked him.
We now have the master in Q conspiracies from the USA and upper state New York, Rolf, who's been on some of our shows before. Let's ask him what he thought of the Charlie Kirk shooting, and let's hear what the conspiracies are and what he thinks. Let's go. Hey, Rolf, how you going?
Good. How you doing, Dale? How's everything over there in beautiful Belarus?
Everything is always Great. Okay. Tell us, what do you think about the Charlie Kirk shooting, and what's all this? What's all the news? What's all the theories?
Well, the sad thing is, the day after they killed that poor Ukrainian young woman, she escaped or war-torn over there, comes here to America, working woman, she's working, not getting a free ride. Young woman, beautiful woman, and some black man stabbed her for no reason because she was white. And then the next day, I think it was the day after, wasn't it? A day or two after, wake up, Charlie Kirk got shot. Unbelievable. I saw the video and I said, oh my, well, when I woke up, they said he was in the hospital, stabilized. I looked at the video and I said, oh my God, he's not alive. That poor guy, I think he died within minutes, if you all saw the video, but nothing's adding up here. They're saying this kid, 22-year-old, shot him. That shot is a marksmanship shot. I've been around guns. I can shoot. I don't believe I could have made that shot. I probably would have got close, but I would have had to shoot a couple times to hit my target, I bet you. Maybe more. One shot, killed him.
Do you think maybe he was actually aiming for like the head and then it just went sideways slightly?
Well, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, I was watching this guy, he's a ballistics expert with body shield and guns and all that. He broke it down. He said it looks like he had an armament, right here, body armor, small one. And it looks like the projectile came down, bounced off the armament, and the shirt went up, and the fragmented piece went right up into his, right there in the jugular. I mean, it couldn't have gotten any better. And then the blood started gushing out, and then he went down. But that's the main thing. I believe that one probably like 85, 90%. That's what happened. But then I've been watching other people coming up and saying he got shot by these guys, and this guy on the side of him, on his right side. You know, and I'm like, God, geez, that just doesn't make sense because there's no entry wound for that and then exit wound. Doesn't make sense. But if you look at the videos, you can see something hit his chest, and I think he was shooting for the heart. To be honest with you, I think the shooter was shooting for the heart because 30-06 is going to blow his heart up. It'll go in and just mess his heart right up. Because my uncle used that for hunting. He used the 30-06 to go hunt for deer. But it just doesn't add up. But that makes the most sense. But then you hear all these things about the shooter that they say they got in 33 hours. That's another thing, Masonic people. And it's like they didn't get him. They called in. He went to his father, and his father called her preacher or priest. And it turns out I heard the priest was some kind of a federal marshal or sheriff or something, ex or something like that. And they called the sheriff's department there, and he came and got him. They didn't find him. You know, there's a lot of weird things going on. And then, you know, they say, oh, he was walking towards it, and he was walking with a stiff leg. But they don't show him coming down from the roof with a stiff leg, with a rifle. And here's another one. You saw the video of them following him coming off the roof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was controlling that camera? They were zooming in, they were panning it to the right, and they never called anybody, say, hey, we got a guy on a roof. Just after Charlie got shot, this is like 3-4 minutes after he got shot, not even. The guy's running off the roof, and this guy, somebody's controlling that camera. He gets off the roof and he disappears. There's no cops around. You think the guy with the camera would be like, hey, I got somebody coming off the roof.
Maybe it was a security camera, and then what they did is when they showed it, then they did the panning and all that while they were editing it.
I doubt it. No, you could clearly see it was moving on its own.
Mm.
But all these weird things. And again with the rifle,
breaking down the rifle afterwards.
Yeah, you don't break one of those rifles down in a minute or two or three.
And then put it back together and leave it in the forest?
Exactly, it's a solid rifle. Like I said, my uncle had one of those rifles, both single bolt action, and I think it held 3 or 4 bullets, 4 or 5 bullets, I forget. You just lock them up in there, but you have bolt action. I shot one of them, and it nearly, I was like maybe 8 years old, 9 years old, and I shot just party practice off my country's farm back in the 70s. And that damn thing threw me, kicked me back. Threw me, because I was a little kid, but it's got a hell of a kick. I shot them when I was older. They got a good kick on them, you know. And that 22-year-old probably broke his shoulder. But they said that he came off the roof. You can tell there's no gun on him. Oh, he tore it apart and put it in his backpack. It's a long-barreled gun. You would see it protruding out of the backpack. Oh, he had it. It's like, no, he didn't. He jumped off that roof. His hips and knees bent. He didn't. There's no way. And you would have seen something protruding from him. And then they said, somebody was saying on the reports, this guy's got a report, the arrest report and everything. As he was running away, he jumped off the roof, he was running away, and the report says, suspect carrying something unknown. It was his freaking backpack. He took it off his back when he jumped, remember, and threw it down?
Mm-hmm.
He picked it up and was walking away with it, and they tried to make it like he was carrying a gun. And in the report, and it's like, wait a minute, you can clearly see he's carrying his backpack. So then they say he went to the woods, put the gun back together, left it in a black towel. In the report, no mention of a box. It looks like somebody had just bought that gun, and that's the box you buy it in. So there's another thing. What's up with that? I've heard that a couple times. They found it. One said they found it in the woods, wrapped in the towel. One said they found it in the woods, wrapped in the towel in a box. And the report says they found it wrapped in the black towel. No mention of the box in the official police report. So there's a lot of weird things going on here, a lot of questions. And as I was listening to this other report, they did a digging into is the shooters has a transsexual boyfriend-girlfriend thing. He, she, her, them, whatever the hell they call them, right? And they found out that online they knew something was going to happen a week before because they were discussing it amongst themselves. This guy was telling, the shooter was telling all his friends and everybody, and his boyfriend, girlfriend there, that something big's going to happen the day of the Charlie Kirk thing, rally. And they did a lot of looking into that, and this one guy has captured a lot of the communications on the internet with these people. And now he said that now they've locked down all their communications, deleted everything because they're afraid, of course, because he turned it into the FBI. Because these people, these transgender group people, and furries, and all these wackos, these something's wrong with these people. There's something very wrong with them. They have been talking about something happened when Charlie Kirk that day, before it happened. It's just a lot of weird things going on. And did you see that somebody found on Amazon a book the day before was published on Amazon about the Charlie Kirk shooting? Did you see that?
No.
You didn't see that? Yeah.
No.
September 9th, there's a book, and it says the Charlie Kirk shooting. It was a digital book. And somebody had bought it. And it tells everything up until the end, where that Charlie, in the book it says Charlie survived. That he didn't make it, he didn't die. And if you look at conspiracies here, I have a feeling, or not a feeling, what I've been gathering is conspiracy theory, is that there's a certain country, starts with an I, ends with an L, and their organization starts with an M, ends with a D.
You can say that here.
The Jews and Mossad. Charlie Kirk, I guess, his foundation, since he began it as a teenager, I believe, from high school, Turning Point USA, a lot of his backers, donors, were Jewish. And as he progressed and became the superstar that he was in his TV USA, became world known. He had chapters all over the colleges around the world, in the United States mainly. he started questioning Israel. He was a big, staunch supporter of Israel, defending Israel with Gaza and all this stuff. But then he started, because he's a Christian man and a very smart man, Charlie Kirk, from what I can gather. I was never really, a follower. I wasn't like always watching Charlie Kirk. I watch a lot of different guys, like Matt Walsh and all them, and I'm interested in what they do.
And this show as well.
Yeah, this show. And, I was familiar with him. I wasn't, like a big staunch supporter. But anyways, recently, I guess the past year, couple years or so, but recently he started questioning Israel and its motives with Gaza and certain other things. And the day before he got assassinated, he did a show with what's that Jew guy, Ben Shapiro, and he's questioned Ben about something with the Jewish media and questions about Gaza, and you could tell on Shapiro's face, because Shapiro, no, Israel's perfect, they don't do nothing wrong. Poor Israel, and a lot of conspiracy theorists that like Ben Shapiro got on the phone with that news said, you got to take him out. He's starting to question the narrative. But it's a lot of weird things like that with the, starting to question the Jewish, the Israel, what they're doing over there and around the world.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are saying that Mossad, the Jewish Israeli Mossad, that they're, I don't know if that's their intelligence agency or something. But I've also been hearing reports where Israel has the most sophisticated assassination group, sniper group in the world. And they've been assassinating figures for a long time. A lot of weird things going on here, Dave. Conspiracies. But will we ever know? We don't even know all the facts about the Trump attempted assassination. They cleaned that right up. The guy, they killed him, and he was done in what, a couple days.
Yeah, the other guy. The trial starts tomorrow or this week, doesn't it? The golf one.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention because you don't hear much. They really, I believe X is censoring. We're all censoring. I mean, I'll click the heart on some topic about the Israel connection, and I'll say like it, go to share it, and say, oh, sorry, this has been deleted, all of them. So, but I can still like it except a couple, and I was able to share it, but I don't know if it went anywhere. But I lost your camera, Dave.
I turned it off.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not on the screen twice.
So yeah, it's very a lot of questions. Like I said, we don't even know what happened with the attempted assassination with Trump, and that was a lot of crazy stuff going on there too. A lot of questions, a lot of conspiracy, a lot of what's going on. You didn't look at the roof over there, when you have a presidential candidate, presidential candidate. Nobody thought to look at the roof when they got snipers up on the roof. And you didn't see that guy over there with the rifle? I mean, there's a lot of weird things going on there too. But the other one you're talking about, wasn't he down at Mar-a-Lago? Or at a golf course or something? Yeah. And he says, oh, no, I wasn't going to do that. Oh, no, I was just, out for a stroll. Sure.
Okay, so summing up the Charlie Kirk shooting, what do you think? Go.
I think the kid was a patsy for some reason or another. Was misinformed or something and wanted to take the credit for it because he's messed up in the head. But they had a professional shooter somewhere, because if you look at the video, you see this Charlie's guards to the left, right of him. Left as you're looking at him, but right as he's sitting. They were doing some hand signals, and the military people came out and said, they're signaling a sniper to say, close, clear, shoot, take your shot, clear for shot. And as soon as that one guy did that, boom, Charlie got shot. I believe it was a professional shot. They took the rifle, stashed it in the woods. The kid was told to go over by the woods, so it looked like he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't think Charlie was supposed to be shot. I think it was supposed to be intended so they can make a big thing about it or do their false flags or psyops.
But if it was professional, then he would have missed, not actually shot him.
Yeah. But what happened, and I watched a video of a tactical expert with our audio armament and guns.
Yeah, like you said.
Said it looked like the bullet hit his armament. You can see the bullet kind of shattered a little bit, but the shirt flew up and put a nice gouging hole right where what luck is that? Unfortunately, bad luck for Charlie, but for the shooter, if he was wanting to kill him, boom, right in his jugular, it's right there, right where it hit him. And all the blood came gushing out. And like I said, I don't think Charlie lived for minutes after that, honestly. And here's another thing. As they were carrying him away, they were looking at the ground. There's no blood from where they carried Charlie to the SUV. No drops of blood or anything. And I said, well, maybe because they had it bandaged at that point. But the amount of blood, you would think there'd be something, right? So I think there was, I don't think we'll ever really going to know. We're only going to know what they tell us. They're going to accuse this kid. They're going to arrest him. Probably, put him away forever. Who knows? We'll never know.
Okay, thanks for that. And we'll see you on another show.
Yes, nice seeing everybody cool from the other side.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Our next segment tonight, number 2, Trump's presidency in motion and Washington's shutdown frenzy. Donald Trump, the unstoppable force, now back in the Oval Office, is wasting no time flexing America's first muscle, even as swamp boils over in panic. The past week he's ramped up the heat on urban crime, teasing federal crackdowns in Democratic-run cities and mulling troop deployments in hotspots like Chicago and Philly. Common sense moves to restore order, law, and where local hacks have failed.
Lined up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe.
Polls might show a dip in battlegrounds hotspots like Pennsylvania's Bucks County, but that's just media spin on backlash from the elite. Real Americans see Trump delivering on promises, not poll chasing. His alliance with RFK Jr. as HHS Secretary has kept big tent wide opening, blending MAGA grit with health freedom fights, even as RFK's vaccine policy revamps draws fire from big pharma shills and a fresh letter demanding his firing.
We are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job. This was their job to keep us healthy.
Thank you,
and
Mr.
I need to fire some of those people to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Trump's keeping him close but leashed, proving the tent's too big for the left to breach. And with funding cliffs looming September 30th, Trump's master play dismissing Democrat health care demands and pushing Congress to punt the shutdown down to January 31st, a savvy dodge that forces fiscal sanity without the blame game. He even dropped emotional remarks honouring Charlie Kirk, who we just talked about, vowing to crush the radical rhetoric fueling such violence. A deep state freakout, it's not just the boos at events or approval dips, it's Trump's foreign policy haymakers threatening fierce targeting sanctions on Russia over Ukraine drone escalations as leverage to end the forever war while gutting NATO waste. Why pour billions into Kiev black holes when the American streets bleed? If he keeps this pace, Europe's free ride ends for the EU and Ukraine. Armageddon for working Americans, vindication. And speaking of Armageddon on the front lines, that leads us right into Ukraine's unravelling. Segment 3 of the night, Ukraine, Russia gains and Kiev's crumbling defences. Over the last 10 days, Ukraine's defences have buckled further as Russian forces seize the initiative in northern Kharkiv Oblast, capturing over 200 square miles since early September alone. The so-called counteroffensive is ancient history. NATO's billions in gear, elite training and hype couldn't dent Russia's layered fortifications or artillery edge, and now a bombshell hacking leak from August has ripped the veil of Kiev's true human cost. Russian-affiliated groups like Killnet and Palach breached Ukraine's General Staff servers, exposing records of over 1.7 million military deaths since February 2022. 118,500 in 2022, 405,400 in 2023, 595,000 in 2024, and a staggering 621,000 already in 2025 alone. That's not just losses, it's a generation obliterated. Far from beyond sanitised Western tallies of more tens of thousands. Kiev screams fake and propaganda, but the numbers align with the meat grinder reality on the ground. Draft evasion epidemic, street roundups by military police, corruption scandals toppling officials weekly, and even outlets like the New York Times admitting the economy's in freefall. Russia, adapting like clockwork. Sanctions backfire as Moscow's GDP grows while Ukraine lines fracture under relentless pressure. ISW assessments confirm no major Ukraine advances, just Russian probing and consolidation. Western fatigue is palpable. US debates stall in a new aid packages. Europe's energy spikes return with winter looming, and the G7 whispers grow about negotiation from weakness. This isn't a stalemate, it's NATO's hubris exposed. Russia has the reserves, resolve and territory. Over 20% of Ukraine under control now. Kiev, it's a proxy puppet show winding down. It's people paying the ultimate price in blood. Moscow will carve the peace terms and the multipolar shift accelerates. Segment 4 tonight, Poland drone incursion, Kiev's desperate false flag. But the Ukraine mess just got sloppier and more dangerous with the so-called Russian drone incursion into Poland on September 9th, which reeks of a classic Kiev false flag to drag NATO deeper into the quagmire. Late that night, Polish air defences lit up the sky, claiming to down 19 to 23 drones that allegedly strayed from a Russian strike on Ukraine. Warsaw Deputy PM didn't mince words. These weren't lost toys, they were deliberately targeting Poland. NATO's Mark Rutte jumped in, activating defences and vowing a response while...
September 10th, numerous Russian drones violated Polish airspace. NATO's air defences were activated and successfully ensured the defence of NATO territory. Whilst this was the largest concentration of violations of NATO airspace that we have seen, what happened on Wednesday was not an isolated incident. Russia's recklessness in the air along our eastern flank is increasing in frequency. We have seen drones violate our airspace in Romania, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania. Whether intentional or not, it is dangerous and unacceptable. At a meeting of the North Atlantic Council on Wednesday morning, allies discussed the situation in light of Poland's request for Article 4 consultations. Allies expressed full solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior.
Trump called it possibly a mistake. Wise skepticism from a man who has seen these games before.
About President Putin, because we just saw these drones in Poland.
Yeah, well,
More
Poland
sanctions?
thing, I mean, I'm not going to defend anybody, but the Polands, they were actually knocked down and they fell into an area. But he shouldn't be close to Poland anyway.
Right.
Moscow flat out denies intent, insisting the drones veered off course amid the chaos, but dig deeper and the real story emerges. Eyewitness accounts and debris analysis point to refurbished fixed-wing decoy drones cobbled together from crashed Russian models, duct-taped and a jury-rigged by a Russian black ops. Social media is buzzing with it. Crashed drones patched up in Ukrainian workshops, then redirected or launched from Poland to mimic a spillover. One viral clip shows a so-called Russian drone held together with what looks like gaffer tape on a flimsy frame, hardly the stuff of precision strikes. Why? Desperation, Kiev's losing ground, aid's drying up, and Zelensky needs a spark to invoke Article 4 or 5, pulling the US and Europe into a direct confrontation. Russian Z-bloggers aren't buying the narrative either. They're calling it out as a deliberate provocation, with some admitting Moscow's probes but no cross-border hits. Even Rubio slammed it as unacceptable, but the conspiracy angle holds. Ukraine's got form. Remember the 2022 missile that nearly triggered World War III before it was exposed as their own stray. This is an escalation from Russia. It's a Hail Mary from the regime cornered and corrupt, willing to risk nuclear brinkmanship for headlines. Poland's playing tough, but if they swallow this bait, it's not just Europe that burns, it's the final nail in NATO's coffin, forcing the alliance to fight a war it can't win. And that desperation, it only proves Russia's resolve is unbreakable. Segment 5 of the evening, EU troubles, farmer results and energy rebellion. The European Union preaches harmony from Brussels, but the past week headlines scream fractured, exaggerated. The European Union preaches harmony from Brussels, but the past week headlines scream fractures by the Polish drone fiasco that's got everyone on edge. Germany's industrial heartland grinds slower as energy costs, still tethered to Russian pipelines, despite the bluster, force more factories idling and offshoring and going into bankruptcy. Then there's the farmer fury, fresh blockades in Czech, Slovakia, Hungary and Austria since late February, reigniting this month over EU green mandates and cheap Ukrainian grain floods. Tractors clog highways, demanding fair prices and the end to the unfair agricultural straitjacket. Hungary and Slovakia doubled down September 2nd, scorning Brussels' latest energy security push to ditch Russian gas, opting instead for cheaper Moscow supplies that keep their citizens' bills sane. Tens of thousands hit the streets across 10 nations in coordinated protests per global trackers, rallying against the bloc that prioritises Kiev cash over local livelihoods. The EU isn't uniting, it's unravelling, an overreaching empire bleeding its people dry for ideological crusades. Those cracks, those fissures, they're now, and they're only spreading. Now we come to segment 6 of the evening, UK protests on September 13th and the financial meltdown. Britain exploded on September 13th with over 110,000 reported flooding London streets in the Unite the Kingdom rally. Local people said there was over 2 to 3 million. The biggest far-right mobilisation in decades, led by Tommy Robinson against unchecked immigration and elite betrayal. Clashes erupted, 26 police injured, scores arrested as protests torched barricades and squared off with counter-demonstrators. Banners screamed, "Stop the boats." Chants decried the government deaf to native voices amid record migrant arrivals. Even Elon Musk chimed in on X, urging the crowd to fight back or die, amplifying the raw fury over housing shortages, NHS collapse and jobs theft.
If the fight comes to you, you don't have a choice. You have to fight. So you have to rally all of the people of Britain to fight for the future.
Let me ask
and if
people
this doesn't happen, there won't be a future.
Are you ready to fight for your future, Britain?
Fight for your future. Do it. Go.
Will we be gagged any longer, Britain?
Go.
This isn't isolated rage. Inflation lingers at punishing levels. National debt balloons past 100% of GDP and strikes paralyse rails and hospitals. Why ship billions to Ukraine when energy bills crush families and austerity guts schools? The September 13th chaos, rival marches turning central London into a war zone, crystallising it. Britain's democracy is a facade with rulers in Westminster worlds away from the ruled. The UK postures as a global beacon, but when its streets boil over with justified revolt, the silence from the high is deafening. The chasm has never been deeper. Now we come to segment 7, France, or France, depending where you come from. Government collapse and the debt fuel protests. In France, Emmanuel Macron's House of Cards tumbled again on September 8th when the parliament ousted the government over ballooning debt, sparking the block everything protests that turned new Prime Minister Le Cornu's debut into nationwide mayhem. By September 10th, highways were gridlocked, barricades burnt and hundreds arrested as furious crowds, from pensioners to yellow vest redux, slammed austerity cuts and record borrowing. Fitch slashed France's credit rating to its lowest ever on September 12th, warning of endless debt spirals amid political paralysis. Servicing costs alone devoured the budget, while Le Pen's nationalist surge and the left's hammer Macron's unbearable fiscal mess. Paris once drove Europe's engine, now it's a dead weight, with investors fleeing and the streets ablaze. Macron's centre is dust, squeezed by populists on all sides. France isn't leading, it's lurching towards a breakdown, a cautionary tale for the EU's fragile core. Segment 8 tonight, China cementing the multipolar alliance. While the West chokes on its own chaos, China methodically forges ahead, as seen in Xi Jinping's September 1st push for a new global order, flanked by Putin and Modi at the SCO summit. Beijing hosted Putin for high-level talks on September 3rd, sealing deeper Russia ties, from joint energy deals to countering US sanctions. The BRICS virtual huddle on September 8th amplified it, expanding influence in Africa and Latin America via the Belt and Road, rails and ports, now the top trade partner for 140-plus nations. No bombs, just billions in infrastructure that locks in loyalty. As Washington fixates on Trump's campaign and Ukraine quagmires, China-Russia synergy builds a multipolar backbone, a quiet counterweight Washington's hawks can't bomb away. Xi's playing chess, the West still stuck on checkers. The long game, Beijing's already winning. And tonight, segment 9 is Belarus. Here, Minsk's 958th birthday and a steady progress. Now let's come home to Belarus, where we are here. Yesterday, September 13th, Minsk revelled in its 958th anniversary, a millennium of grit etched in every cobblestone since 1067. The capital pulsed with life. A solemn flower laying at the hero city obelisk kicked off the day, followed by parades, folk concerts blending ancient tunes with contemporary beats, dazzling fireworks over the river, and a joyous family fairs. Thousands gathered for traditional dances, artesian markets and light shows, a tapestry of Belarusian soul, sovereignty and unyielding spirit. Western spin machines love to smear Belarus as a pressure cooker, but walk these streets, calm, cohesive, prosperous, safe. While Paris barricades burn and London riots rage, Minsk thrives in stability, a beacon of cultural depth and forward momentum they'll never acknowledge. Segment 10 of the night, Belarus hockey, Dinamo Minsk. And of course, hockey fever. Dinamo Minsk rode the wild waves through 3 KHL thrillers this week, keeping the Bison faithful on the edge. Kicking off the showdown with Spartak Moscow, goalie Zach Fakul stonewalled 35 shots, proving why he's the backbone.
Бросок ближний, Миронов блокирует. Такое ощущение, что сам упал и повезло, что упал. Уэлэ, Энас, бросок, гол, 3-0, Семенас. Powerplay гол, как говорят. За океаном реализуете нам большинство. Давили. И это снова Лимош, Пинчук, Семенас, Сергей Кузнецов и Ксавилов. Первый гол Сема после голевой передачи, 3-0. Ну что, первая бригада не сработала, хотя были моменты. Вторая тут просто кучу шансов насоздавала и забросила. Ну еще раз смотрим, Сэм Энос и классный Виталий Пинчук. Все сделал Пинчук для Эноса. К тому, что он закрыл Загидулина. Тот вообще ничего не видел за спиной Пинчука. Смотрите, оп, отсюда, а шайба сюда идет. Все то, что должен делать игрок на пятаке, Пинчук сделал мастерски. Ну и Энос такие вопросы. Он бросать умеет. 3-0.
Then on the road at Neftekhimik turned sour. Dinamo led 3-1, but coughed up late fight back, dropping to a heartbreaking 4-3. Defensive lapses stung, but the squad's third period push showed heart, lessons for the long haul.
Только успел выйти из штрафбокса, тут же подключился к потенциально результативной атаке Минска.
Ух ты, какая красота!
1-0.
И снова счет в матче открывает Сергей Кузнецов. Так было в игре против Спартака, так было и сегодня.
Вот он грустный. Андрей Белозеров выезжает из штрафбокса, но там в районе полминуты, да, большинства было у команды Квартального, ну и такого четверти пауэрплей хватило динамовцам для того, чтобы лишнего реализовать на Нефтехим-арене.
Ну вот и команда Гришина пропускает в формате 4-5, да и вообще в принципе в меньшинстве. Но здесь очень здорово сыграли все, я бы сказал. Комбинация, что надо, отдали на Пинчука туда, на пространство.
A rebound roared against Belarus Kazan in Astana, a clinical 4-1 rout over the Eastern powerhouse. Fukali notched 28 saves and line mate Sam Enos buried 2 beauties. The coach nailed it post-game. We controlled the puck, buried our chances and shut down their stars. That's championship hockey. Fukali echoed, after the second game slip, we reset fast, stepping up pressure. That's us. 2 points against Belarus. Feels massive. Momentum's building.
Чтобы всегда Борис-арена была полностью заполнена. Поехали. Стартовое вбрасывание у нас произошло. Давайте коротко о стартовых пятерках. Пока минчане в атаке. Четвертое звено, вполне возможно, оно сейчас в ближайшее время снова на льду появится. А здесь играть можно, показывают арбитры. Встреча не остановлена. Бросок. Фукали в игре. И Борис. Джошуа Брук, но тут, конечно, приходится выбирать, кому отдавать предпочтение. А Шутов такое ощущение, даже как будто потерял немного шайбу из виду, но все для Бориса обошлось. Минчане в атаке. Бросок и гол! И гол! И Уэллеп наносил бросок от синей линии. Осталось понять, было ли подправление. Судя по всему, да.
Fans are buzzing, a team that bends but never breaks, and the eyes now turn to Monday's heavyweight bout at Avangard Omsk, a playoff preview against the Hawks' high-octane attack. We'll stream it live, so tune in. Dynamo's firing on all cylinders, primed to time to be a bison. Let's conclude the evening. So what did these past 10 days reveal? The West reels. Kirk's martyrdom fuels a US right-wing blaze as Trump eyes victory and DC dreads shutdowns. Ukraine cedes ground to Russian resolve with a hacking leak unmasking over 1.7 million dead and a botched Polish drone false flag exposing Kiev's panic. The EU fractures under farm fire and Russian energy holdouts. Britain's streets erupt in anti-elite fury. France's debt crisis topples yet another regime, and China-Russia lock arms in a multipolar dominance. Contrast that with Belarus, Minsk 958th birthday, a triumph, affirmation of heritage and harmony. Dinamo Minsk battling with the bison tendency. Stability isn't sexy to the headlines, but it's a real power, while the old unipolar facade crumbles. The multipolar era isn't coming, it's here. Thanks for joining the other side. Like, share, subscribe, and catch Monday's Dinamo stream. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay skeptical, stay on the other side.
Start it up.